Hey, what's up, friends? Eric Crumbaker coming at you from Real Estate and Shit episode No Clue. But thanks for tuning in. First and foremost, be sure to subscribe below. Most important part, ding ding. Please subscribe, leave some comments. We love all the feedback. Love interacting with you guys. Not going to waste your time. We're going to get right into it. Thanks for tuning in. We got a lot of topics to cover today. Got some really cool guests. Let me introduce them right now. We have Chris and Sadie. Chris, what's up, man? How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you again. Nice to see you. You look good in blue.
It's good to be seen.
It's good to be seen. I like that. Well, everyone's looking at you right now.
We also everybody.
Hi. We also have Sadie. What's up, Sadie?
Not much. Guess what?
Let's go. What's up?
Episode number is my favorite number.
It's 11.
13.
This is episode. You like the 13s?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Like mixed messages, like it's unlucky, but it's my favorite. I think that's
interesting.
I don't know. Since I was little,
never understood the 13. Like it goes so far as if you go to a hotel, they don't have floor 13. Isn't that weird?
Really?
Oh, really?
You didn't know that? No. Hotels don't have floor 13. Yeah, really? Whatever hotel you've ever gone to, there's no floor 13.
Because it's unlucky?
That is something I've never really figured out because it is an unlucky number, but the fact that hotels don't even have a floor 13?
Or do they?
No, believe it or not.
Ghost floor.
Some of them do have floor 13s and they use them as like garbage and shit like that. But yeah, you can't stay on a floor 13 in a hotel.
How weird. Well, you know
what? It must be haunted. It must be a haunted thing that happened back in like the early 30s and 40s. And they're just like, we're not doing it.
Maybe. I used to have this thing when I was little that I couldn't walk into rooms. Okay, here's my OCD. I couldn't walk into rooms without tapping like 13 times. Like that was my number.
Every room you walked into, you tapped 13 times?
If I didn't tap like the door, oh my God, I was such a weird
How long did this go for?
Like probably till I was, I don't know.
Do you still do it, Sadie?
Stop.
Do you still do it?
No, it was till I was like, I don't know, 10 or something.
Wait, 9 to 10?
No, like my whole life until I was 10.
Your whole life you were knocking on things 13 times?
Not knocking. Like sometimes I would like count my fingers. I don't know. But 13 was my number. So this is going to be a really good episode.
You guys, let's just watch her over the course of the next couple of weeks and see if she has any other weird things that she's doing, No. I'm very interested in that. You want to sit apart from her a little bit, Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys are here today. I got some really cool stuff real estate related. We're in the second week of December. I don't know if you guys have noticed, rates have kind of settled down a little bit. I think we're seeing some 5s in there a little bit.
Yeah.
I was doing some soft reading before we get into some of these things, but I saw applications for mortgages are on the increase right now. They're rising, obviously, when rates are going lower.
Makes sense.
Have you guys noticed a uptick in the real estate market on the buyer side?
Absolutely.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Like overnight.
Overnight?
Someone flipped the switch.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's interesting.
Of the few open houses that I've done, like last weekend, there were so many people who were like, we don't have a lender. Which that's fine. But they were like, we're just looking because we know rates are coming down. We feel like this is a good time.
They're kind of they're getting their feet wet.
Yeah. They're like, let's just see, let's just check. And those are good people to talk to.
They are good people, but I'm going to tell you this right now. All those people are going to get right back in the same old scenario. By the time they actually really jump in the pool, there's going to be a multiple offer situation. They'd be like, oh, what happened?
We missed the
crash. we should have done this 2 months ago. I know we saved $150 a month, but we just spent $30,000 over asking to get it.
Yep.
Yeah. It just shows how informed the buyers are, how quick they react to, I don't know if that's a testament to their lender, to their real estate agent, or if they're just have the access to the knowledge and they're watching, but they are watching and they did react quickly. So,
I think it's a testament to just the way news gets around so quickly, whether it be good or bad. It's like, the skies are falling, or it's like, trees are growing in the backyard. It's very interesting how quick people can move too. It's like a shift, like hundreds of thousands of people. You can just like kind of visually see. So,
sound effects.
You like that? All right, so let's get right into it. Pulled an article from Inman today. We have a variety of topics to go over. This one's specifically about Opendoor. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Opendoor, but Opendoor is an iBuyer platform. And it says Opendoor faces existential crisis as iBuyers fight for survival. So it says this. It says, even at the tail end of the year filled with big iBuyer shakeups, this week's news was even a bigger shocker. Eric Wu, not me, I'm Eric Crumbaker, co-founder of CEO and Open Door, and in many ways, the public face of the entire sector was stepping down. The announcement was also revealed that Open Door president Andrew Lo Aki was also resigning, that chief financial officer Carrie Wheeler would not take the helm at the company as the new chief executive, and that the company was pulling off a few other leadership shuffles to boot. Executive turnover is common among big companies, including and especially in real estate, but Open Door's announcement is a big deal right now because all the eyes are on the iBuyer programs. After both Zillow and Redfin exited the sector, and after the remaining players posted huge losses last quarter, there's an active debate in real estate about what the future of tech-enabled crash buying looks like, and if it even has a future at all in the future. So before I go any further, what are your thoughts on Open Door and people stepping down from these companies and this iBuyer program just really struggling right now, especially with Zillow and Redfin completely capping the programs?
I think they missed the opportunity to be successful on the back end on the resale portion of the equation.
I agree.
Because, I mean, every Open Door, I don't want to say every, I haven't been in many of them, but the ones that I have all been like a negative experience. Like, I mean, two in the same city had like packages of condoms, all like, it's like an advertised vacant home.
Correct.
I think kids break into them. I see packs of cigarettes in there, like empty bottles of alcohol. Like, it's not, conducive to a successful outcome on a real estate sale.
I completely agree.
So is there like, I'm not completely like aware of iBuying. Is there no human involved? Like, just Open Doors has this listing that someone was like, sure, you guys can do it for less commission or whatever. And then like you log in and there's no one there to make sure the house is
Great question.
Sure,
So how this works is, just so we can be very clear, right now there is no such thing as a real iBuyer program, because behind the program, behind all these websites, there are real estate agents working the transaction. It's their preferred agents that are working the transaction. You have got to be approved to be in their iBuyer program. So what it does essentially is, if I wanted to sell my home, I can go onto Zillow, Redfin, Open Door, and I can click on the button, sell my home. And what they do is right then on the spot, they will give me a price for what they feel my home is valued. And they give you two options. They will actually let you stay in the home for a certain amount of time until the property sells, or they can do it right then. They give you a cash out for the property, and it'll allow you to use that money to, so to speak, be non-contingent on the property that you want. What was happening, though, is in an increasing market, they really went head in deep, and they were buying properties as the market was increasing. Like we noticed in the last couple of years, prices were, rising in value. Well, January 2022 hit, and we saw a shift. And by the way, these companies don't buy 1, 10, 20 homes. They're buying hundreds, if not thousands of homes at one time. So they have, what's the word I'm looking for? They have inventory that they have to let go. Well, when the shift happened and they all of a sudden, the value what they thought they could sell for was actually the value what they purchased for, and they still had to pay all their fees and run these tech companies, they were putting huge losses in. So the iBuyer program essentially didn't work over long term in a shifting market. So that's where everyone started. And then just so you know, not everyone knows this, it's this something about tech companies and small print. Us as conventional real estate agents, compared to what they're doing, we charge a certain amount of commission. Industry standard is about 6%. We always give deals away because they're friends and family, whatever it may be. Well, they would advertise that they would do it for like 3% or 2% or 4% or whatever those low numbers would be that would entice the seller to be like, oh, I'm saving money. Well, based on all the small fees, all this, that on the back and adding up, they would essentially be charging up to 13%. And people didn't know. So that's the story of the iBuyer program collapsing. We were part of it a little bit ago, a couple of years ago. We got out real quickly. We were approved for HomeLight's iBuyer program, but yeah, we just didn't want to go through with it.
Sounds like most tech companies, like they tend to get, especially tech real estate, tend to get really far ahead of themselves, and then because the market's changing, they find themselves laying off a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
Because they just like plan for this to go on forever.
And I feel like it's none of their money. They're always raising capital. So they've got like billions or millions of dollars, and they're literally just pissing it away. They're throwing money away because it's not money they've earned.
That individual property didn't get the attention it deserved.
Of course not.
To have the success
Because
that could have kept their business model profitable.
Of course. It's people like us that care about the clients and care about the home that they're selling. You think these companies really care about mom and pop and their home and the value and their story and what they want to do? No, they're a program. They're there to make business and make numbers happen, as we're here to connect with our clients and really guide them through the next experience in their life. So I feel like there's a huge disconnect.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. It's funny I say that because you ready for our next segment? It is, will your brokerage survive next year? Damn. Another Inman article. So it goes on to say, it says, ups and downs are a natural part of the business cycle. Supply and demand can only be out of the balance for so long before something must change. That's where the real estate industry is today. In a shifting market, the boom of the past few years is slowing and it's transforming into a normal environment. Is this another bubble? Some worry the industry is approaching a housing bubble like 2008, all set for a similar burst and a subsequent fallout. As Long & Foster's, we're not. We're in marketing differently, and it talks about things that would necessarily bring your brokerage down. It says, will your brokerage have to close next year? And it says, many experts also worry about real estate businesses not being able to operate in a normalizing housing market versus a robust market of past couple of years, and rightfully so. The real estate industry is over a decade into expansion, and that's double time in which a correction usually occurs. During this time, the housing industry has had many new entrants, often referred to as disruptors. These new players have struggled to prove, like iBuyer programs, viable even during the past couple of years. They have never operated in a more normalized market, kind of like what we're in now, let alone shown the ability to survive in a downturn. That shift is happening now, and the real estate landscape is changing. So it kind of goes through a little bit, and it talks about, this is an opinion article, and it's actually an article by Gino Belfari, and he's actually a part of Long & Foster's. So the rest of the article talks about how they're not going to fail and how their money's structured, and saying how other brokerages have put so much kind of like these tech companies that you're saying, they just put so much money into the business so quickly that they can't sustain the next year or so in business. And when it's funny, because I read all this, the only thing I thought about is these brokerages have like 2,000 agents. Wow. And out of the 2,000 agents that most of these brokerages have, there's only 10% that represent the whole company. Yeah. So I can understand how these big Keller Williams, Realogies are struggling because the majority of the people that they're licensed agents that they bring on don't produce anything.
Sucking the life out
They're
of the company.
sucking the life out of the company. So on big scales, I can see how this hurts us. And that's why I thought it's small mom and pop brokerages right now. I think it's such a great environment for them to be in, because just like real estate, just like you always talk about, Chris, real estate is an emotional experience. It's the quality of life. And somewhere in real estate brokerage-esque mindset, I think they lost that too. Like the bigger we get, as in doing it the right way, bringing on the right people and growing with strength rather than numbers. Yeah. So I saw this. I thought it would be a very interesting experience. Oh, I have something to show you guys.
I love being a part of the example of that.
Same. I read this and it makes me want to pinch myself. You'll actually trip out on this really quickly. Gino Belfari, CEO of Berkshire and Hathaway affiliate Home Services of America, recently shared a statistic. In 2007, there were over 80,000 brokerages across the country.
Wow.
80,000. But after the 2008 downturn, less than 50,000 remained. That's a big decrease in brokerages. He said, I asked Belfari how the brokerages that haven't made money in the last few years would survive through 2023, and the simple answer said they just can't. So I'm interested too, Sadie, how many brokerages are currently up and running as of last year to what it would be at the end of 2023. So it's something that I think we should get back on and do a little like around, circle the wagons and come back with some information on a further podcast.
I bet we could get Dennis to find some answers.
It makes me smile too, and I'm sure Dennis could help out on that.
Well, and we went from CG from being a team to a brokerage, like in the middle, I feel like, of everything changing.
It was the biggest shakeup. I know.
Buckle up. Hope you like our logo.
There's something that I have come to a comfortability about. Any big shifts or any big change, it never works in your time frame. It's never a good time to do these things. It's always like, oh, it's not a good time. It's not a good time. We have this, that, and the other. I now look at that emotional and mental process as a time to actually move forward. It's my body telling me I'm scared to do something, so I'm forcefully going to do it anyways. And every time I've done that, things have worked out for the better rather than me looking back and regretting not doing it. So there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, growing pains.
Growing hurts, Wow, crazy. Okay, so moving forward, this is kind of very interesting. It says expect housing market to crawl in 2023 before it can run. This is Redfin. So it says mortgage rates will eventually float back down to earth near the end of 2023, but not before home prices tally their first year-over-year decline in a decade and sales slump to the lowest pace in 12 years, according to the new housing market forecast from Redfin released Tuesday. In 2023, stubbornly high mortgage rates will bring about a housing market in which existing home sales plunge about 16% year over year, the slowest since 2011 when the Great Recession was still on top of mind for Americans. But a modest rebound should begin on the second half of the year, according to Redfin. Overall, the brokerage predicts a market that looks almost unrecognizable from early 22 when mortgage rates clung to the historic lows of a 1 year prior. Demand for homes was still riding high after the frantic 2021. I love this. Redfin predicts about 4.3 million sales of existing homes in 2023 as a 16% decline of last year. Persistently high mortgage rates, home prices, and inflation will keep prospective buyers from making purchases, and people will only move if they need to, the company said in a statement. It stands, the existing homes have already declined for the past 9 months. What's the beautiful thing about here is this is what I was reading. It says, oh my gosh, where is it? This is it. This is what I want to talk about. It says home values will decline, but a wave of foreclosures will not. Redfin foresees the median home value decline about 4%, 368,000 nationally, which would be the first national price decline since 2011. And if it were to happen, mainly due to elevated rates and final pricing starting to reflect home prices that went under contract in late 2022.
I feel like their narrative is saying that buyers just won't buy, and I don't think that's the case. I think buyers need to reevaluate what they can buy because you still need a home.
Correct.
And there's still a lot of motivation, and buyers will still buy. They just got to digest that they're not buying this now. Now they need to buy this. Maybe look at it more as a stepping stone home. Let's get our feet in the door. Let's build some equity, and we'll go after that next stage home the next time around.
I agree. It's funny because I was actually just reading another article that I didn't bring up today. It was they did a little price fluctuation between rates 2 weeks ago to rates now, what you'd be saving on a monthly. Mm-hmm. And I think at a $500,000 home, you'd be saving $150 a month currently as the rates have declined a little bit.
Which doesn't sound like a whole lot.
That's exactly my point. People are looking at rates and they're not looking at
payments.
They're not focused on payments. Yeah. If someone were to actually look at what their payment would be based on what they're offered to what they think they want their rate to be, I bet you there's not a huge gap. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a deal breaker mentally because they don't know that.
They can't get over the interest rate.
They just think, oh, interest rates are so high, I can't afford it. But if you actually went in and figured that out, oh my God, minds would be blown away.
Yeah. They need some graphics.
They need some graphics.
Yeah, it's easier to look at like the negative side than the positive, and that's what they're not looking at.
Do we need a home buyer seminar in our office?
We do.
Like someone to really show people what this looks like.
Should we have beer?
Well, beer is always included.
Beer and shit?
Yeah.
Forget wine club. We're having home buyer seminar.
Seriously, I don't see why we wouldn't do something like that.
That
I feel like
a good idea.
I mean, these are facts that blow me away right now when I'm seeing this. And then the second of all, home value declining only 4%. homes increased 50 to 100% in the last couple of years. We're crying over 4% decline.
Yeah. So who would be crying over that? The people who just bought a home? Or are they going to move out of their home? Like, because I guess if you lived there the last 3 years, then you saw that 50% increase.
Well, two people I think are crying. The people who aren't purchasing over 4%.
Yeah.
And the people who bought that are declining by 4%. That's nothing. I would love to buy a home that declined by 4% this year. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I'm buying the home for 10 years anyways.
Yeah.
I guarantee in 5 or 10 years, that 4% I wouldn't even remember.
But what's the benefit to having that narrative in the industry? You know what I mean? Like 4%, like, you know, why not talk about how minimal 4% is like we are, opposed to like what we're seeing doom and gloom?
I'll tell you, because you're a professional. I'm a professional. These are just people writing articles.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not click-worthy.
I made a YouTube last week. I said, you know, if you're not in this market purchasing, you can't be out talking to people about purchasing. You know, the same thing with people who are writing articles. These people writing articles aren't buying homes. They're not in the industry. They don't know exactly the trench work that happens on the back end.
Sure.
They just get to write an article and make it look pretty because they want eyeballs.
I see.
So that's why it takes us to really start to educate and make these YouTubes and put out the Instagrams and the real information, so the smart people who know us know that we have the real facts. Yeah. That's the way I've always looked at it. Hence why we have this. Okay, so moving on. I thought this was very interesting. This is the one I was reading at. Let me scroll down. Oh, same article. I wanted to talk to you guys about this. I thought it was pretty interesting. It says next year from Redfin, they're also seeing a couple different things. They're saying that the bet is on the Midwest for real estate. It says while the West and South were the hottest markets in the pandemic years, they've also become too expensive for most residents considering relocating. For 2023, Redfin predicts more stable markets in the Midwest, like Chicago, the Northeast markets such as upstate New York and parts of Connecticut, to hold up the best and weather any downturns. Very interesting that they're not seeing anything on the coast, on either side of the coast, as a valuable investment. And they're saying that, you know, the Midwest is a little easier, but it makes sense because most of my friends who started their investments all purchased property in the Midwest. It also says in 2023, we're going to see rents fall. So if we're seeing...
Yes. For me, yes.
I like it. It says after soaring new highs during the 2022, Redfin predicts that rents will continue their downtrend thanks to increase in inventory, and big landlords in large cities will begin offering concessions like a month of free rent or free parking upon new asking rents. The company also foresees that people will become move-up renters who will upgrade to bigger apartments or single-family rentals instead of buying properties due to high property cost. So, yeah, get on the boat too, Sadie. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, if I was in the position right this second to buy a house, I would, and if you are, then you should. But at the moment, we've been looking at places to rent that are just bigger.
Okay.
And you're seeing...
What's rent look like? Let me ask you, like, what are they asking for rents?
Well, okay, so in like Claremont, Upland, Rancho, Laverne, that's like the main area I'm looking in.
Okay.
It's around... Well, here's the issue is that we need a garage.
Okay.
Because
he's a mechanic. He likes to work on stuff.
Let's just say you don't need all these weird stuff, things that we need. 2-bedroom, 1 or 2 bathroom,
okay,
with a 1-car garage. You're looking at like $2,200 to $2,600 a month.
Wow.
But the last couple of months, the same thing with housing, it's been going down. You've actually seen like from $2,400 to $2,300, like home price reductions. It's really weird. And a lot of before, like a year and a half ago, it was really hard to find a place to rent. Like you were fighting people to rent the same you were fighting to, and now it's like, okay, it's been sitting on the market.
So that's why rents will be coming down a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm here for it. But
$2,600. So what would a mortgage be on like a $500,000 property with like a 5%, 20%, 10% down or something like that?
Well, everything that I've looked, I even looked at one of your listings thinking like, okay, what would it be if it was like $450?
Yeah.
And I put 20% down and X, Y, and Z, and with the HOA and with some other things like taxes, it was still over that amount.
No, of course. So just so you know, Sadie, at no point where your rent be cheaper than your mortgage. It's usually $1,000 more, but it's worth it because you own the home and all the benefits that come with it.
1,000%.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I didn't look that hard into it. I just was like, this is going to be way more than I'm thinking. So, yeah.
I would say this. Have you talked to a lender?
I mean, I I talked to Jason at I'll see him at Sloan's birthday party. But no.
So this is what I would do, Sadie. I would talk to a lender. I would talk to Jason. And this is what Jason's going to say. He's going to see how much you make. He's going to see how much your boyfriend makes. And he's going to say, hey, all right, well, this is where you're at. You can afford this property. Mm-hmm. That gives you the idea, okay, well, I don't want to buy a property at that price. I'm going to buy a property at this price. So then that gives you mentally what that gap is for you to close. Mm-hmm. That will give you a different insight of when you start looking around or when you're putting money together, finances or jobs or whatever it may be, then things start to like come together knowing that that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But most people don't talk to a lender because they have the exact same thought you do.
Well, and you know what? A lot of people don't know, and I don't know what it would be like when you purchase a home with someone that you're not married to. Because what kind of obligations do you fall into when it comes to that?
Well, just so you know, Sadie, we're in California, so you date that guy for 5 years, and it's co.
Oh, community. Oh,
no matter what, whether you're married, living or not, you're with him for 5 years plus, and your assets are split.
It's just the way you.
Okay, well,
welcome to California.
I got time. Don't worry.
But just so you know, when it comes to common property and stuff like that, you can easily put paperwork together. We just did an addendum on our property, so you can. That's the least. That should be the least of your concerns.
Yeah. Partnerships.
Yeah, partnerships. Exactly. Yeah. So,
interesting.
Is our homework for Sadie to talk to a lender for next week's podcast, guys?
Absolutely.
Oh, I have multiple I can text, but...
Which one is it going to be?
I don't know. You know, I have some clients I need to set up with...
She's like, I don't know.
No, it's so weird. I've been fielding people... I don't know what to say. Okay. I've been like trying to figure out what's best for... I have some clients I met last week that want to speak to a lender next week. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm talking to other agents in here because we have a few really great lenders. Yeah. But it depends on what you're looking for. Like, they all kind of have their own... They work... Of course, they work with everybody.
I'm going to connect you with Monica.
But... With Monica?
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
You'd like Monica. I think you'd connect well with her.
Interesting.
And she's a straight shooter. Great, yeah, she's great. And she'll tell you, and she'll be honest with you and help you.
But that's even, so I feel like you have to match people up well too.
You do. So personality based.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think Monica would be a good suit for you. So we'll connect you and we'll get the conversation going.
I have met her one time, but again, not lender related.
At your party, I bet.
Was a party.
That was a fun party.
I remember that part.
Yep. I remember that part too.
Is it time for a party?
It is. We're out.
We're going to go jump in a pool now.
That was fun. Okay, so moving forward in the same article, Gen Z's migration. With many of the younger people feeling the frenzy in major cities, they will begin to migrate to more affordable, mid-tier cities. Redfin foresees, thanks to a part of remote jobs, giving them flexibility, choosing where they live. In my opinion, I'm going to kind of skip over that. I think that's kind of changing. I think people are actually requiring people to come back in the office again, which I think is going to cause a huge fuck up for a lot of, I mean, literally, Zillow, Google, Apple, Twitter allowed all their employees to work at home, and all those companies.
That ripple effect could be
huge, but they're making all these people come back to work, and most of these people move to different states. Yeah. How are they gonna work this now? I think they put themselves between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I know, like, my sister works for TikTok.
Yeah.
And they required everyone to come back, so you have to be in LA.
There you go.
Have to be back. And I know that with some other tech companies, they allowed people to come back. Like, you can come back, but you don't have to. And the people, I was watching some stuff on TikTok about the Twitter layoffs. The people who are getting laid off first are the ones who aren't in the office.
Ooh.
They're going to get rid of that before. That's what they're saying.
Crazy.
What do I don't know. I don't work at a tech company. But
that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, though. Like, you know that those, and there's a lot of people who have tech jobs or have like work from home jobs. They have like 3. And they have multiple laptops. Yeah. And people have.
I wonder how many lawsuits are going to come at these companies for firing people. They told me I can work from home. Now they fired me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, if you're California, you're an at-will employer. So.
Ooh, interesting.
Employee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really quickly, just so you guys know. Wrong one. Okay, so moving on. I thought this is kind of cool because we're not even in it. So I thought that would be cool to talk about. It says the top 10 friendliest cities for first-time buyers right now. You guys ready for this? Yeah. Let me know as a first-time buyer if you'd move to any of these spots. Okay. First and foremost, it says the surge of mortgage rates seen during the second half of 2022 has brought the shares of the first-time home buyers back down to pre-pandemic levels, with would-be buyers shifted to high housing costs. In light of these challenges, the new analysis by the online listing portal Zillow outlines the 10 friendliest markets for first-time buyers, almost all of which are affordable cities in the Midwest or Northeast. Although housing affordability is extremely challenging these days, some markets will be hospitable than others for first-time buyers, said Zillow senior economist Orphe, whatever your last name is. These metros are potentially hotbeds for those looking to buy their first home. Not only will shoppers find more affordable monthly mortgage costs and have an easier time qualifying for smaller loans, but rent also is more affordable than elsewhere in the country, shortening time to save for a down payment. Here we go. Zillow ranked these cities based on factors such as mortgage and rent affordability available for homes and shares of homes with price cuts.
They take desirability into consideration?
Doesn't sound like it. Because the top 10 cities Zillow identified as the friendliest for first-time buyers are number 1, Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, hey, ding, ding, ding. We're going back to last week. Is she from Kansas?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. And you know what's funny?
Place like home.
You're going to die. You're going to die. Here's the picture of it.
Oh my God! One industrial building.
It looks like an industrial building at 12 midnight.
That's horrible. So like, look at this thriving city.
Look how many cars are in the parking lot. None.
That reminds me of like the corner of the place we stayed in Dallas.
I'm dying right now. I'm dying. It says Wichita landed as the top for its deep affordability, which Zillow explains. Yeah. The Kansas Metro is among the top cities where people spend the smallest share of their income on rent, 27%, and mortgage costs, 32%, and it has a higher share of listings relative to active shoppers with an estimated buyer to listing ratio of 22-1, which gives more options and potential buyers for buying. Of course, nobody freaking lives there.
22-1. Like there's 22 buyers per one listing.
With an estimated buyer to listing ratio. So there's 22 listings to one buyer. I'm pretty sure.
Oh! I thought it was the other way around. I was like, dang.
Well, right. It's popping in Wichita.
This population distribution.
Think about that though. 22 listings to one buyer. Who the hell wants to live there?
It's called variety.
You know. Oh, you guys ready for 2?
Yeah.
Never even knew this was a city. Toledo, Ohio.
Holy Toledo. Is that where that comes from?
You guys ready for this picture? Look at this waterfront.
Oh.
Wow. You guys leaving to Toledo, Ohio?
That reminds me of like Pudding Stone.
It does look like Pudding Stone. Oh my gosh. So it says the city of Ohio. Oh my God. Are you ready? Of 288,508, placed second on the list for its friendliest and first-time home buyers. Residents of Toledo pay an average of 29% of their income or on rent, below the United States average of 44%, and pay 26% of their income on mortgage costs compared to the average of the United States of 47%. The typical home valued at $172,000 on Zillow, and at 23% of listings have been price cut. What'd you say?
I said I'll take 4.
You'll take 4. Sadie, you said you needed to buy.
I can go now. Let's go.
You can buy an investment property in Toledo, Ohio today.
Can I also work from home?
No.
All right. Well, then I'm out. Sorry, Toledo.
You don't need to work from home to be in Toledo. You just buy Toledo.
Oh, okay.
Just buy a couple houses there. Okay, moving on to number 3. Number 3, I think, should be number 1 based on the picture alone.
Lord.
Syracuse, New York. Where is Syracuse, New York?
Syracuse.
North.
Is that
like
where
a
the
north?
College is?
Is that the college? Is this the college? Because it looks beautiful.
Maybe. I mean,
this looks like Charleston.
Is the college.
I've heard of that. I wouldn't think that would make the list. But.
Yeah, no way no way people are coming here to buy because they're friendly. What?
It's probably so cold
there.
The
fact that you use friendly is ridiculous. Friendly places to buy. I bet you there's so much crime in these cities. Yeah. Number 4.
Yeah. That's the university.
It's the university, so they have to put the university on.
So if you want to go to the university,
so outside the university, you don't want to see those homes. Let's do a picture of the university. Yeah. Shit. Well, number 4. I don't think it's a huge increase. Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. 2 for Ohio.
Just so you guys know, if you know me, I'm terrible with pronunciation. Akron, Ohio. Akron, Ohio is number 4. Who the hell lives in Akron? You know what's funny? Huh? He doesn't live there. He lives in Beverly Hills.
Oh, we don't care about LeBron.
He came from Akron. You know what's so funny about that is a really funny, it was an ESPN interview with the guy from the Bulls. He had like froey hair. I forgot his name. It was like 5 years ago, and they lost to Cleveland Cleveland, whatever their name, with LeBron, and they did a post interview with him, and I'll never forget this interview. And they're like, so, like, do you care that you got beat? And he's like, I don't care about this team. He's like, this team's from Ohio. He's like, has anyone ever said I'm going to go vacation in Ohio?
I don't even know where it is on a map.
I was dying. I was just dying.
What's a sitcom that's filmed there?
In Ohio?
In Ohio?
Yeah. Cheers?
I don't know.
Oh,
no,
I don't
Cheers
know.
is in Boston. It's so weird. I just talked to Angelica about that yesterday.
The old Drew Carey show that he was on?
Man, Ohio's the place to go because number 5 is Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland.
You guys, let's just move to Ohio.
Okay, human element. We just all have to get relicensed in Ohio.
They need to figure all this out. They're just showing skylines. So obviously around the neighborhoods aren't looking too great. If this is the picture that they have to show.
Well, that looks more lively at least than the first one of the off the business arena or whatever.
I agree. Number 6 is Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa.
Number 7 is Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Detroit. So these aren't friendly.
Yeah, Detroit's scary.
Last year they had to boil their water. Everyone in Detroit, Michigan had to boil their water last year for 8 months because the water was unhealthy. You telling me this is a friendly place to live?
Yeah, that's not.
Let's be honest. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm dying. I'm dying right now. No one's moving to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to buy property to live there.
Steelers.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
No, it's the same, but it's.
I feel like all these places are cold.
Have you noticed all the Pittsburgh fans don't live in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Dennis.
Exactly.
I only know one, and he lives in California. So.
Number 9. It's actually a pretty rough city to live in. I'll tell you. I know a couple of friends who own properties there in St. Louis, Missouri. As beautiful as it sounds, it's actually a pretty rough place to be walking around at nighttime. You ain't doing that.
Interesting.
And number 10, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Arkansas made it. Hey, there's actually
that where Miller's from?
No, not even close. But it's really far.
Where's he from?
He's from.
I would laugh if you said Torrance.
Yeah, he's from Arkansas.
Is he?
No, he's from Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's called Fort
Myers?
No, Fort Smith.
I was gonna say that's Florida.
But they don't say Fort Smith. They say Fort Smith. I'm from Fort Smith.
Oh, because you're from their accent. You're making fun of them now.
The way I love the way they talk, but the way what they emphasize sometimes is not the way I would emphasize a syllable.
Okay.
But it's close to a place called. It's called Fayetteville, but they call it Fayetteville. But it's like a big college town, and it's really cheap.
Like Lafayette.
And
so it's called Fayetteville. Yeah, it's Fayette.
And they have a college. It's really beautiful. It's really awesome.
Did you go?
No, but I looked it up on Google because he was trying to convince me that there's
dying right now, Chris.
He was trying to convince me that there's nice places.
I can see her doing Google views, street views.
I did. I went to the college and I walked around. I was like,
wow,
this is nice. He's like, yeah, there's a downtown. It's like downtown Claremont, half of it. And I was like,
that's cool.
Okay, that's something.
When are you guys going?
Not in the books yet.
Damn.
But that's okay.
After the home.
I mean, I'd like to go to Oklahoma City. Apparently it's really close to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
It's not far from Nashville. I guess all those states are really close to each other.
Sadie, I'm going to give you some advice right now, just so you know, based on these friendliest places to buy property, which I don't know about friendly, but maybe cost effective. I'm going to tell you this. When Carrie and I lived in LA, we could not afford property in LA. They were just too expensive. Prices went up too quickly. So you know what we did? We bought a $300,000 property in La Quinta, and that has turned into a cash cow business, and the property now is worth $800,000.
Nice.
And then we bought the other property in La Quinta, which is also half the price of a property in Los Angeles. So just because you don't think you can afford a property here, which maybe you can't, I can guarantee you can afford a property somewhere as an investment property. My buddy Daniel Ariola, he owns about 20 properties all throughout the country. He bought land in dirty property, like $100,000, or a building for 4 units for like $250,000 in Missouri. And he makes really good money on the value of the property increasing. And his goal is to be a millionaire just on the property, a millionaire just on the property, not the value of the property that he has invested in each home, not the value of the property in general, but
the equity gained.
The equity gained. But he started off with, just so you know, I'll never forget it, because he kind of started my real estate career mentally. We were in college and he bought a property in Oregon for $100,000. He ended up selling the property 3 years later for $160,000, and it was a pretty good cash investment. You know what I mean? So I can guarantee you, even in California, like going east, as far as east you can go, or in other states, you could find a good value where this could help build your equity to actually buy the home you want a couple years down the road.
I think I might have come out wrong. I would visit Arkansas. I have no plans on moving. I have no plans on leaving California because the amount of, like you're just saying,
Sadie.
I mean, you can invest anywhere,
Sadie.
but California's, I'm not leaving. Don't worry.
Sadie.
But maybe I'll visit.
Daniel Ariola, sorry, Dan, I'm sorry calling you out, has never been to a single property that he's ever purchased out of state.
That's awesome.
Not once.
Well, why would you leave California?
So it's investing. So what I'm trying to tell you is you don't need to leave California for you to start your money wealth.
Yeah.
So your goal is what this week? What's your homework?
Meet Monica at a bar and talk to her about it.
Yeah, I like it. She's gonna be your cup of tea then.
Yes. I will talk to a lender for myself, not for clients.
Of course.
But also for clients, but for myself.
Well, of course, because just so you know, once you start going through the process yourself, it's gonna be much easier to explain it to your clients.
Okay.
You know?
That's a selling point for me.
I mean, that's the only way, because now you're going to talk to your clients and be like, yeah, I met with the lender 3 weeks ago. I understand the process. It's hard to get this paperwork. It's hard to do this. It's hard to do that. Patience, But
knowledge is power. If you know what you can spend, then you know what you can buy.
You seem pretty smart there, Sadie.
I have my moments.
I love it. That's all I have today. I feel like we have a good segment today. We got some good information. You guys leave some comments below. I mean, there's so much information. There's so much opportunity right now to go and find the right investment in real estate to make it benefit you over the next 3 to 5 years. No one can sit here and I'll tell you guys can leave comments below. There's no one that can debate me right now that's convince me that buying right now is not more beneficial than negative to anyone. Even people that don't feel they can buy, there's something they can buy somewhere in this market where it'll benefit you in a couple years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm preaching on, guys. I'm preaching, give me a Bible. Let's door to door. Let's spread the word.
We should ask our viewers what they want to hear us talk about.
Actually, that's a really good, guys, like Chris said, what do you guys want to hear about over the course of the next 3 to 5 podcasts? Any certain topics you guys want us to cover? Anything in the past that you guys want to debunk us on? Please feel free to go in below, write some comments. We'd love to discuss those and talk about any new topics that you guys have. Yeah, that sounds fun.
I'm game.
You're game?
I'm game. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, well, we're going to cut it. You guys, thanks for tuning in to Real Estate and Shit. Thank you to our, I was going to say host, but to our, what are we? I don't even know what you guys are.
We're like
part of the furniture.
We're like the trio. Thanks to the no, because you're the host. I guess we could be. It's like co-host.
You guys aren't the guest either, because guest is like your first time.
Just the homies, whatever.
Here's the homies. We got Sadie and Chris. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to tune in to the past episodes, and for everyone else, we're gonna see you guys next week. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.